with all the hatred Lauren Sanchez stirs in ladies like Anna Bey Meghan Kelly, is the cultural capital of those ladies over? Does the outrage about Lauren Sanchez's wedding dress say more about her haters like Meghan Kelly and Anna Bey than about her as a couturier and a certified color consultant, color season consultant, image consultant? As a professional and also Miss Universe finalist, I can certify that that dress was beautiful and elegant. Masani, how do you do? So, Anna Bey claimed that Lauren Sanchez was wearing grandma's curtains while having the same dress top as Princess Catherine. So Anna Bey said the lace was from the 80s. Oh, like Princess Catherine. Oh, like Nikki Rothschild Hilton. Like every high society wedding. So what weddings does Anna Bey go to? Only gay weddings with groom and groom. If it's high society, it does not seem that Anna Bey goes to any heterosexual weddings in high society, nor lesbian weddings, nor any wedding where there is a wedding dress. And also, so my readers wrote to me about her and sent me their screenshots and said her wedding dress looked like grandma's curtains, which is true, right? And you know what? She has many hits, but her wedding dress during the pandemic, when she married rather quickly, was not one of them. You know, my own wedding dress was not perfect either. However, I got married before I became a stylist, and yes, a war started in Ukraine, war started in Yemen, so we didn't have time to deliberate and pick out a perfect wedding dress. I picked out one at my friend's shop and it fit me perfectly, and I thought, you know what, I'll go for it. Looked nice, made me happy, I was happy, and that's it. But I did not get married after I became a couturier and stylist, right? So with the knowledge I know now, I've actually made different dresses. I've sewn different dresses that are more sophisticated, so I've grown. But, I picked my dress before I was a stylist. However, if after I became a stylist and couturier, if I had to be married during the pandemic and I picked whatever, I wouldn't be sitting there critiquing other ladies' wedding dresses. Because really it seemed like an afterthought. Oh my goodness, Dior, that sounds like an affluent name. If I close my eyes and get anything from Dior, right? Then perhaps, if I just close my eyes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's bite Christian Dior on the toe. That's pretty much how Anna Bey had to pick her wedding dress during the stress of the pandemic. And I was expecting, Elie Saab, Lebanese wedding, something extravagant, because she was marrying a Lebanese banker, and yes, was disappointed, but it was during the pandemic, okay? And since then, she has not had a big, after wedding, because, if you couldn't have a proper wedding during the pandemic, I'm expecting, the second, the third anniversary to be something big and proper with a nice, wedding dress, right? Maybe Dolce & Gabbana, to keep quiet, right? So some of the ladies have been commenting on her wedding dress, which was probably the frumpiest wedding dress I've seen, and I've seen from any designer. She was going for, I believe, Schmecks and the city, right? But it's retirement in the city was more of the vibe. Even though I did not like Sarah Jessica Parker's dress either, but it was more youthful. Even though I believe she was older when she married Big. So also with the scarves, I just came back from Amalfi, and that's how they wear it. They wear their twillies as scarves, and that's how they sell them. That's what they showed me. I think it's adorable. I wonder what you think. Anyway, going back to Meghan Kelly and Anna Bey, the outrage on that beautiful dress was something else, okay? Anna Bey just went at it. She was so triggered. She was writing in every comment. She tried to compare Amal Clooney to Mrs. Bezos. But see, you cannot compare the two. So Mrs. Bezos basically did not have style, and this is actually on purpose, because her point, her husband wasn't marrying her. She was a mistress at first, then he gave her a shut-up ring. After the shut-up ring, she thought he'll never marry her. She was, sexy, but still had a bit of class. 1 month, another month, nothing, 3 months, nothing. And then she went to a Hollywood agency and said, how can I become famous if he's not going to marry me? I at least need to build a brand, become a A-list celebrity, and monetize, so I have options, okay? And they said, well, you have to create outrage and just wear outrageous clothes. So she did. And that was her brand. That was actually a clever strategy, because then she could walk away from Mr. Bezos, who is close to retirement age. And it's really difficult when you're that old, at some point it's inertia, then you have to start all over again. And when your knees hurt and so on, when you're that old, it's just easier to make her happy and put a ring on it finally. Because he really enjoys spending time with her. She is a riveting person. She had her own attack helicopter company where they also would film things with the helicopters. Very fascinating person, okay? She's very interesting on her own. So, of course, Bezos was drawn in with her exciting personality, and his wife was Barbara the builder, the boring good girl who kept his life boring. She built him, then when he got to the top, it was his boring old life, and he wanted to move on to the next step and so on. And Lauren showed him the way to be happy at the next level. He was a bit of a dork, and she made him cool, introduced him to celebrities, and showed him how to live. This is why, ladies, you should never be Barbara the builder. So many ladies like Meghan Kelly and Anna Bey are very outraged by Lauren Sanchez because she doesn't follow the good girl pick-me script, right? And she won as a bad girl. However, this is why I don't recommend copying her, is the path of the bad girl is a disaster for 99% of ladies, and you're probably not the exception. She's also 55, and all the girls who want to be a bad girl are 19. Girls, you'll be eaten for breakfast. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing, then you're not watching YouTube, okay? You're not watching my channel if you're Lauren Sanchez, you're not watching my channel. I'm watching you, right? So, right, you are probably not that baddie making those moves in your 50s. You do need to be in your 50s or 40s to be able to pull off the bad girl moves she did. because it requires a lot of social skills. It's also her second marriage. She's already divorced. That's important, right? She has incredible amount of social skills and life skills on top of her beauty, so she knows how to pull the bad girl thing off, right? You don't have to know how to pull the good girl thing off. You just have to learn assertiveness and learn a few things, and you'll be all right. And you can even marry up. So that path works for most people. So Anna Bey showed slides of Amal Clooney looking elegant except for her wedding dress. That was a disappointment and a miss. Then you had Mrs. Bezos, who, I'm sorry, there was one slide that was okay, but generally, fashion is not her thing. She's not known for her elegance, but for causing a stir, okay? And then finally we have the wedding dress, which is elegant. And if you don't like the wedding dress, it's because you're a terrible, miserable person who's not happy where you are, and that's why you want to tear others down. I can prove it to you. How many people were tearing down Princess Catherine's dress and saying it looks like grandma's curtains or it's vulgar, right? No one. Now let's go to Nikki Rothschild's dress. Very similar style. Okay, with those ladies the skirts flare out and it suits their body type, and also personality that's more restrained. Whereas Lauren Sanchez, she's very sexy, and that's her personality. And so the Dolce & Gabbana wanted to come up with classy, sexy. So the dress, this was very beautiful. It covered everything, so she can go to church, right? The churches are more conservative in Italy, so that dress was conservative enough for church by covering the shoulders. It covered everything, and yet it was a mermaid dress to show off her figure, her personality, being a spicy Latina, at the same time while being elegant. As an image consultant and couturier, this is exactly what I would have found for her. Because if she wore, Princess Catherine's dress, it would look odd because it's not her personality. And at the same time, you want to be appropriate in Italy, right? Where if you go to a church in Italy, they ask you to cover your shoulders and have no cleavage, like so. The reason why Lauren is so hated by especially pick-me's is because she got away by being vulgar and got the top gentleman on the planet, okay? She got the most, affluent bachelor on the planet. At the same time, she did it in a way that most ladies would run into trouble and would not work. I read somewhere over 90% of mistresses, the gentleman they date never leaves his wife, okay? So if that's you, it's not the best path, okay? It rarely ever works. The way she dresses so vulgar, she can get away with because her husband is a multi-billionaire and owns Amazon. It's the definition of luxury beliefs. Now, if you're single and you go to a White House dinner dressed like that, you'll be frozen out from high society. And if you're a minority, you dress too sexy, you will definitely be frozen out. So, Anna, you need to talk about luxury beliefs and quod licet Jovi, non licet bovi. So that's Latin for what is allowed to Jupiter is not allowed to the cow. And this is a phrase where what is allowed to the elite of the elite is not allowed to the average person, and goes back to Greek mythology. What was allowed to Hera was not allowed to Jupiter's mortal mistresses. So that's very important, right? So, and the more, if you're a minority, if you're an immigrant, so on and so forth, the more vulnerability you have, the more it is important to follow the rules. You can only break the rules if you know them so well. And Lauren Sanchez kept marrying up, so she knew the rules. She was not breaking them everywhere, all at once. She was not being Meghan Markle in the beginning, you know? So she broke the rules with Bezos in her 50s when she knew what she was doing. That's the difference. In art, they say you need two teachers, one to teach you the rules and one to teach you how to break them, okay? Back to Amal Clooney's wedding dress. I do like most of her looks. However, that wedding dress was designed for an obese or plus-size lady and just overwhelmed her. You know, on a larger lady, it would be so beautiful. And the shoulders as well, because you know that often this area, when you're highly plus size, might not be the most flattering. But, you know, the big flowers. I just have to say no on someone so skinny. It just doesn't work. I know what I'm talking about. I also know that Lauren Sanchez's dress was sewn immaculately by Domenico Dolce. So Amal Clooney just did not put too much effort in picking her wedding dress, and she puts more effort day to day. However, this was the big day for beautiful Mrs. Bezos, and she wanted, now that she's Mrs. Bezos, to have a clean look. So she cleaned out her Instagram and started to be classy, at least trying to be sexy classy, trying to go Sophia Loren, and trying to upgrade her look. So now that she's Mrs. Bezos, she does not need to play the actress attention monkey games to keep her spouse. So we'll see what's the future, or if she likes continuing doing that, or what's going on. Anna Bey then said, you know, her scarf, you know, Lauren Sanchez wore a hat because it's practical. Although I don't find straw hats to be as practical as cloth hats, and I can do a video on Mediterranean sun care, having come back from there. Practical tips on how to enjoy your summer and not cry from the heat and the UV, which may be surprising if you don't live by the water and live more farther up north. Even if you live in Rome, if that's all you know, you will be surprised by the summer in Cinque Terre or Amalfi. I noticed Anna Bey got so triggered, and she, after making this post, it's like she has no life except hating Mrs. Bezos, and so she would respond to every single comment. So triggered, so upset. She was deleting comments left and right. My ladies were sending me screenshots and sent this all to me. I was surprised. And in comparison, if you look at her other posts, she's not responding to every comment in so much passion and pathos. It's like an opera. She's really upset that Mrs. Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, got married without being an Elegantosaurus Rex dinosaur. And she bagged a billionaire, and Anna Bey did not. I mean, the comments that said that, you know, got deleted, and Anna Bey was going after these comments, and my ladies were sending this to me. So yeah, so just, if Anna Bey, if you're watching this, pro tip, right? you know, if you're hating so much on another lady's clothes with such passion, saying she's not elegant, when she, and if you're unbothered, you can objectively see that the dress is beautiful. And also,
as a costume designer, you know I have to weigh in on why I think this gown is awful. This is a classic example of something that has been over-designed. Now, it does not surprise me that horrible people flock to horrible companies. Dolce & Gabbana, the designers of this dress, are a terrible company. And Lauren Sanchez Bezos and Jeff Bezos are terrible people. So this does not surprise me, this partnership. And knowing that it's Dolce & Gabbana, I'm also not surprised by how over-designed it is, but it really missed the mark here. But in order to understand why this is just not good, let's look at the inspiration images. Much like Kim Kardashian trying to link herself with Hollywood icon Marilyn Monroe by wearing her gown to the Met Gala, we have Lauren Bezos trying to link herself to the one and only, the absolutely glamorous Sophia Loren. This is a trick done from the beginning of
Lauren Sanchez wedding ceremony dress was more timeless and aristocratic than I was expecting. There's the reference to Sophia Loren in Houseboat, but also Lady Kitty Spencer wearing custom Dolce & Gabbana as well for her wedding to Michael Lewis, and Grace Kelly herself, who married Prince Rainier II of Monaco and became a princess.
so that her bridal outfits, probably not the lampshade outfit, but the rest, you know, were tasteful and not her usual vulgarity. That you would be able to recognize that she's stepping up her brand and becoming classier than she used to be, and good for her. Let's also remember, Lauren Sanchez was not as vulgar as we know her today when she met her husband and became his mistress, right? And the rules are a bit different from being someone's mistress. It's very difficult to move from mistress to wife. Now, Jeff Bezos had married Barbara the Builder, whatever her real name is. I think Mackenzie, something like this. Or Laurier. So when he met McDonald, Laurier Bezos, or whatever, you know, it's probably the name of some Canadian prime minister. Okay, Stephen Harper Trudeau Bezos, something like this. When he met Trudeau Colony Harper Bezos, she was so boring. More boring, right, than reading the accounting books for the Canadian Parliament. She was boring. But she helped build him, right? Barbara the Builder built Bezos. And then, when he had all the money, he noticed everyone else who was affluent had fun, exciting lives, and his was boring. And he thought he worked so hard to get to the top. He deserved a great life. He deserved fun and excitement, and not the doldrums his hard-working pack donkey wife brought him, which is why I tell you, ladies, don't be Barbara the Builder. If you see somebody who's getting there on his own, you can assist him and help an emperor expand his empire. But, you know, if he is there from zero and you build him up from zero, you know, this is not the sort of a man who will be loyal to you, because you accepted him at the bottom when he was worthless. So then when he feels he's worth something, right? It's like when blind people have surgery and see for the first time. The first thing, you know, they throw out is that stick that used to help them see now that they can see. And you are that stick. So Mrs. Bezos knew that she had to adjust her strategy. Lauren Bezos realized, you know, she could not get Jeff Bezos the way she met her husband, or her first husband, right? She had to do the sexy, classy thing before, right? Be presentable, but be sensual, right? However, she knew with Jeff Bezos she had to break the rules and be cool to get noticed. So it was different, and she went a different route. Most of you, if you try this, you will get a terrible reputation and you'll be single and die alone if you try it. So her strategy was extremely high risk, okay, high reward, but this is already her third marriage. If you have not had your first marriage under your belt, do not try these risky strategies, right? I am not offended that she took a risky strategy that I would have not taken, because you know what? In my 20s, I did not have the maturity of a lady in her 50s. There was no way I could have pulled that off, right? So I went the safe route and I won. And she won, and she took the risky route. We are both winners, and that's why I'm happy for her, because I am happy for myself and for my situation. I'm happy for Lauren Sanchez because I'm happy in my marriage. I have the best husband in the world. He makes me happy every day, right? And I didn't marry only for one thing or the other, only romance, only money, all this or that. You know, my dad picked the best potential father for my children, right? So he picked the best husband, right? The best full package. And, you know, I went along, saw, okay, you know, it's probably better what I would choose, so let's see what happens. And my husband makes me happy and smile every day. He just always puts the effort to make me the happiest woman in the world, you know? So I am very happy with my marriage. And my husband does not have to be a billionaire to make me happy. In fact, I know quite a few ladies who are unhappy being married to billionaires, multimillionaires, because, you know, the husband is a narcissist, he thinks he is entitled to always cheat, and, you know, because of children, things of this sort. It's difficult to leave, right, because he can take away the kids. It's just, you know, there are unfortunate situations too, so money alone will not make someone a good husband, but you don't want to live in poverty. And I think, you know, Jeff Bezos seems to be like a good person towards his wife. He seems to be kind towards her. She's a strong lady, so it seems to work. He seems to be good to her. And, you know, he gives her the life of her dreams. So I'm so happy for her. It's not very common that someone that wealthy is also kind to his wife, because many of them, they have just so many ladies chasing them. They treat women as disposable. And clearly, we have seen Jeff Bezos treat his wife with love, care and respect, and not as someone disposable. He's so excited and happy with her. He's actually good to her. So really, that's not common. So I applaud her. That's very lovely. I'm happy for her. All right, I can be happy for her and also not recommend you copy paste her risky strategies in your 20s, because it probably will not turn out the same way for you. This is why I also say you should dress more conservatively, because you are not going out to the Emmys. Let's say you are going to happy hour, right? You should dress like you came from work, but cute, right? If you notice high-end escorts, they are actually modest. They fit in. They don't stick out like a sore thumb. Now, you can be a little less modest than them because you do belong, you're not an escort, you don't have to wear black and neutral, you can wear some color in your color season, you can have fun, but you have to fit in with the parameters. So don't wear your shorter skirts, have everything all hang out in the business lounge in the airport where everyone else is wearing a suit. Your suit can be tailored. You can have a pencil suit dress tailored closer to your body, and have a blazer that, you know, the your type that gives you an hourglass, maybe has a little peplum, you know, just. But, you know, notice Princess Catherine after she became a princess, right? In her first few years, her clothes were classy, sexy, you know, sewn tight enough that you know she's a beautiful lady, but loose enough to show that she's a lady, right? Tight enough to show that she's a sexy woman, loose enough to show that she's a lady. Anna Bey and Meghan Kelly sound like they're not happy with their husbands and only worked so hard following the rules, making sacrifices to be proper, to only not get the gentleman with the income and lifestyle that they feel that they deserve. Maybe that's not true, but that hatred of Lauren, like, why does she bother you? Get a life. Why do you care? You know? I mean, that's how it comes across. So, you know, if you're really excessively hating a woman when she's not doing anything wrong, okay, people think that you're envious. So I do understand people upset about Lauren walking around half naked during the inauguration. That was not respectful. And yet there are also other people who are not respectful towards Mr. Trump either. Why signal her out? Now, one of the problems is many young ladies do desire to be overly sexy. I mean, I was that age too. I just didn't know that I was overdoing it. And I was screaming when I thought I was being cute. I was yelling and being too loud, okay? And I was coming off as insecure. So when I got older, I realized I'm beautiful. I'm enough. I don't need to show so much, okay? And then you get treated much better by men who are marriage-minded. So this is the problem when you are in your early 20s. Boys, they just want to have fun. They just want to bang. They don't like you. They just want to bang you. That's all, okay? They don't like you. So if you dress in a romantic way, like you're looking for a husband, you will not get attention from gentlemen your age. And if you get attention, it will be from creeps perhaps, but older gentlemen, again, I tell ladies, start dating at 25. Wait, because at 25 you have, and having worked, you have emotional maturity. That's when an older gentleman who is in his 30s, maybe 40, if you're 25 and he's 35, it works, right? It's only 10-year difference. He likes you for you. It's real. It's genuine. If you're 18 and 20 and he's 35, he's a perv, okay? He does not like you for you. He just wants to use you for your youth. So you have to be careful out there. Basically, don't date until 25, right? But so I notice many young ladies, they try to wear the skimpiest thing because that gets attention of all the boys who fake relationships to get laid and want to screw. And if you're dressed like a wife, they don't want wives. They just want a bathroom to empty their balls in. They want a male juices toilet. And if you don't look like a bathroom to empty their balls in, they don't want you. Ladies, why would you want that? Just wait a few years you know, you'll be even 24 soon enough, and then you can be with a 28-year-old. You can be with a grown man who is looking for a wife, and you're looking for a husband, right? So yes, at that age, I would dress more conservatively. Just because Lauren Sanchez is not doing that now doesn't mean you shouldn't. How do you think she got her first job? Even how do you think she met Jeff Bezos? Was she half naked? No, she was wearing her work clothes, right? And then they liked each other, and then when they were secure in the relationship, she showed her sexy side. But when she first met him, she was not running around half naked, and her husband actually introduced her to him. So when you're in a business setting and or a conference, you go to happy hour, you're wearing a cute suit. If you're running around half naked in an elite environment and you don't know anyone there, you'll be kicked out of there. You'll be frozen out. One of my ladies was telling me she was out with her friends from university, from either Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, one of those, out at the races, and of course where she went to, some of them are very elite, from aristocratic families. I think I told this story before. So they were out and they were dressed appropriately, and then there were these girls who were wearing the shortest duct tape dresses and low cut, everything out, just, you know, and they had drag queen makeup, and they had the fascinators on looking at the horses, and the boys said, "Oh goodness, look over there. Ah, the ladies of the night are suddenly interested in horse racing." The men laughed and they didn't take them seriously. So, you know, if you dress too sexy, right, just because Lauren Sanchez did, does not mean you'll be treated like that, okay? That requires strategy. So, dressing classy but glamorous with a bit of feminine, with your little touch of personality and spice, that does make you successful, okay? So my message is a bit similar to Anna Bey, that running around half naked is not going to get you too far. Being inelegant, being ratchet is not going to get you far. In the elite, if you're an unknown person, Lauren Sanchez was already married when she started doing all these antics, okay? She was married to an affluent gentleman already. Do you think she dressed like that as an intern? Of course not, right? Because if she did, she wouldn't be where she is. So when you get up to a certain level of wealth and fame, right, and especially if you're married to an affluent gentleman, you can break more and more rules. You can be above the rules once you reach a certain level. But to get to that level, you have to follow the rules. You have to know the rules well enough to know when you can and should break a rule, and when you start, you just follow the rules. The fact that there are times, that there are exceptions to them, does not offend me, okay? I think there is nothing wrong with Lauren Sanchez's wedding dress, that it's beautiful, and ladies should stop hating on it. Because hating on something beautiful says more about you, okay? A lady who crafted a vulgar media persona can actually have an elegant wedding dress and elegant pre-wedding outfits, right? So just because a clock is broken does not mean it can't be right twice a day. So there is nothing wrong with Lauren Sanchez's wedding dress. People need to get a life and stop hating it. At the same time, Like, what are my other thoughts? I wished that the wedding was more fun, like a Lebanese wedding, like more all out there, like the Ambani wedding. I was hoping for something, less minimalist, more fun, but good for them. I'm so happy for them. My favorite dress was Ivanka Trump's, and I loved her reference to saying that it was in Canaletto's Emperor Hour. It's one of my favorite Venetian painters, and we have some of his paintings in Ottawa. They're absolutely incredible, so that made me feel so warm inside. That was so classy. Follow me for the secret of where affluent ladies go in Italy to buy artisan things after luxury brands have died because it's mass produced. Please like or hate, share and subscribe, and comment below what are your thoughts on the Bezos Sanchez wedding. What dress did you like the most? What outfit did you find interesting? What did you find the most interesting? Follow for the secret of affluent ladies and where they shop in Italy. Arrivederci. With all the hate and how triggered Anna Bey is of this Lauren Sanchez, I have to ask, is Anna Bey over? When I was asking you ladies, are you more interested in Italy or an Anna Bey related topic, everyone's more interested where affluent ladies shop in Italy and Lauren Bezos. So that's what you were more interested in. So I wonder, is Anna Bey over? Is that phenomenon over? Right? Because she is that triggered with Lauren Sanchez. Is that why? And if so, it was lovely while it lasted, and she helped us all level up and improve ourselves, so I say thank you to her. But now, what other influencers do you recommend that I follow, that I critique, that I make videos of? I would be delighted to know who I should follow, who I should critique, who I should enjoy. Please write in the comments below. Arrivederci.